Hey guys, what's going on today? BOJoeKO here, and we are back for our Vancouver Canucks GM mode here in NHL 15. We are about to start our year number 3 playoff run here. We're going to be opening up round number 1 against the Edmonton Oilers here. Now, as I mentioned last episode, I've already done my pre-scouting, so I know where I want to send the scout out next time, and I have pinned some guys to my watch list. I'm only focusing on defense for the draft because, honestly, that's really what we need come draft time is a lot of defense. So, we're going up here round 1 against the Edmonton Oilers, and now, since this is NHL 15, you can't really view the lines of the players. So, we will just go to the stats and check out what the Edmonton Oilers have going into this playoff series, see who they have on their team, who did good during the regular season, and yeah, and then we'll get right into the calendar and let the playoff run commence. All right, so let's go all the way to Edmonton, and let's see how they did this year point-wise for their team, and let's see who's going to be on their forward lineup. All right, so the Nuge had a good year, so he's 93 overall. Taylor Hall is going to be 91, Jordan Eberle 87, so I'm assuming that's their first line right there. David Perron 86, Nail Yakupov 86, Andrei Laktianov 83, Pouliot 83, Purcell 83, Steve Ott 82, Gordon, Ryan Jones, Jesse Jones-Su, and that's it for forwards. So, other than their first line and Yakupov and Perron, nothing really too special on this team. I mean, you got the Nuge, Hall, and Eberle, who definitely are studs, and they definitely can get some goal scoring done, especially with Nuge and Hall. Taylor Hall was almost a 50 goal scorer this year, dear God. But other than that, it just severely drops off right after Perron and Yakupov. Like I said, you go from a Nail Yakupov to an Andrei Laktianov, who did have 50-something points, but it's nothing really too special, and then it just really drops off after there. Okay, so that's what their forward group looks like. Defensively, they have Justin Schultz, 85, Petrie, 83, Oscar Klefbom, 84, Marvin Marincin, 84, Nikitin 82, and Mark Fane 82. So it's a decent defensive core, but their best player is an 85, which is really not better than ours, but it's kind of equally matched up. Defensively, they have a lot of defensive defensemen. Yeah, they have 3 defensive defensemen, I think, they have 3 defense, 2 two-ways, and 1 offensive guy, Justin Schultz. And in goal, they have Victor Faust and Ben Scrivens. All right, so Ben Scrivens is an 84 overall, and Victor Faust is an 80. So that's also something that we can look forward to, is they only have an 84 overall goaltender in that one. We have an 86 in Jack Campbell, as well as an 84 in Eddie Lack. So on paper, I would say that the Oilers have the advantage offensively, other than the first line. We definitely have them beat depth-wise. Defensively, it looks pretty even, and in goaltending, we definitely have the advantage in goaltending. So, with that being said, here we go. We have home ice advantage against the Edmonton Oilers here, and let's get it started. Let's go 2 games at a time. I'm going to turn auto-rotate goalies off before I do this, though, because I want to have my best goaltender out there all the time. All right, so auto-rotate goalies, turn that off. Injuries, like I said, I'm just going to leave them off for the entire playoff run. I don't want to have any injuries here. I want the best players out there all the time. And then because I just did that, the automated rotate goal is off. Let me just make sure Jack Campbell's starting. I think he is starting, but I just want to make sure. And let's go to goaltenders, and Campbell is in that. All right, so we're going to start Jack Campbell because he has been on a roll as of lately. And here we go. Edmonton versus Vancouver, home ice advantage. First 2 games in Rogers Arena. Here we go. First 2 games against the Edmonton Oilers in the playoff round. Let's see if we can not get swept. There we go. Off to a good start. 3-1 win in game number 1 against the Oilers. 3-1. Nicely done. And then we come back with a 3-1 loss. All right, so they split the series 1-1 going back to Edmonton. All right, let's go again. 2 more games at a time here. Come on, Vancouver. Come on, Canucks. You guys can do this. Edmonton, other than their first line, is not a good team. We can keep them off the scoring board. There you go. 4-3 in game number 3. Lead the series 2-1. And then come back with a 4-1 loss again. So we score some goals, and we hold them pretty decently goal scoring wise, but then they come back storming as well. So back and forth series here. So now it's a 3-game series. It's a 3-game series. I'm going to leave Campbell in there Leave him in there. All right, so now we're only going to go one game at a time here. I might check stats up, just see who's doing pretty well. Maybe I'll move up and down the lineup here. There we go, another 4-3 win in game number 5. So we're putting up some goal scoring every other game. We're putting up goal scoring in every other game, it seems. So once we come back from a loss, we storm right back with it. So those past couple games, it is 4-3. We lead the series 3-2 over the Oilers, but I do want to check the stats and see who actually is performing for the team right so far, because I can't check it out, and that's only going to be regular season stats. I need to go check the playoff stats here. All right, playoff stats here. All right, so Grigorenko has 5, Gaudreau has 4, Bonino with 3, not bad, Fowler with 3. Let's just check this out here. Nyquist with 3, Berglund, Shinkruk. All right, so it looks like the first line and the second line are putting in the finest. Gaunt's with 2 points. No, those are no points. I keep forgetting up here. Yeah, it looks like the third line. I guess the top 3 lines are doing pretty decently. Horvat hasn't had anything. Neither has Gotch. Gaunt's with nothing. The fourth line has no points, but Vey, Shinkruk, Berglund. Our top 6, I guess pretty much all of our top 9 except for Horvat has a point, which is good, I guess, for the forwards. Defensively, Fowler, Hamilton, and Tanev all have 3 points apiece. Edler with 2. Hogboom and Stanton with none, but they're the top 6 guys, so that makes sense. And goaltenders, Campbell is 3-2 with a 2.78. Save percentage of .908. Alright, so, you know, it looks like it's good. Top 3 lines are putting in work. We can get a little bit more depth goal scoring here. That'd be pretty nice to see. But here we go, game 6. We got that 3-2 lead over the Oilers. Let's see if we can beat them here. Come on, boys. Come on. 3-2 win over the Oilers, and we finally make it past the first round here in the playoffs once again. So a lot of 1-goal games in our victories here. But so we beat them 4-3 in game number 5. Beat them in game number 6, 3-2, and the Vancouver Canucks move on past the first round. So only 2 games they pretty much blew us out was no goal scoring. Every other game had a lot of goal scoring in it, and here we go. The Anaheim Ducks in round number 2. Alrighty. Interesting. Alright, so let's go check out the stats for that first series, wrap it up, even though it's only we only played 1 more game, so we don't really need to check out the stats all too much, but we gotta see who Anaheim has on their team as well, and then we'll check out the playoff tree. Alright, so let's do player stats for that first series. Alright, so let's see. Look at forwards. So Gaudreau has 5 points, which is good. Grigorenko 5 points. Bonino with 4. So Bonino not really showing up in the regular season, but playoffs not too bad. 4 points in 6 games for him. Berglund, Galchenyuk, Nyquist, and Shinkruk all have 3. Vey, and there's Horvat with a point. So Bo Horvat got a goal, it seemed, in that last game. So that was pretty clutch for him to get a goal. And then our fourth line guys, no points, but they are all minus. Third line is pretty minus too. The top 6 guys are all either even or plus, which is okay, I guess. But we got Gaudreau and Grigorenko pulling it through on the offensive end of things. Defensively, Fowler, Hamilton, and Tanev all have 4 points, so all those guys got at least a point in that last game. Edler has 2 still. Stanton has 1 point, so he got a point in that game as well, and Hogboom with 1. So only the plus players on our defense are the top 6 guys, Hogboom and Stanton, which is interesting. But at least the offensive guys are putting in some points up there. Okay, and then, like I said, Campbell had an okay series, 4-2, 2.57, 1.916 save percentage. No shutouts, obviously. But, alright, first good series. Not a bad first series for Campbell. Not bad. Alright, so let's check out the playoff tree, and then we'll check out who's on the Anaheim Ducks team. Alright, so Dallas moves on. Even without Jack Campbell, they moved on 4-1 in their series over Nashville. Chicago beat the Avalanche in 7 games, 4-3. We beat the Oilers in 6, and then Anaheim beat the Winnipeg Jets, the team who beat us last year, in 7 as well. So it's going to be Dallas versus Chicago and Anaheim versus Vancouver. We're not going to have home ice advantage against the Ducks in this one. And in the East, we got Carolina beating the Islanders in 5. Florida upsetting Pittsburgh, it seems, in 7 games. So there's interesting there. Boston beat Montreal in 5, and Buffalo beat Toronto in 6. So in the East, you got Carolina versus Florida and Buffalo versus Boston. All right, so there's the Elite 8. And let's check out the playoff stats, I would guess, for the Anaheim Ducks. It'll be easier if we check out the playoff stats, and it'll be easier for us to determine who we need to, you know, stop. Whoa, okay. Anaheim Ducks. Alright, so let's check out their forwards here. Alright, so Emerson Etem, he's got 7 points in 7 games. Same with Ryan Getzlaf. Corey Perry, 92, good lord. So there's your first line right there. Etem, Getzlaf, and Perry, I would assume so. And then it seems like their first line is the only line doing things for them, though. Emerson, Etem, Getzlaf, and Perry. Seems like they're the only ones doing anything on their team right now. After that, it just severely drops off. Coglian, who's 85. Penner, 76 overall, but he has 3 points. Interesting. TJ Gagliardi, Kessler. Okay, he's their second line center. Stefan Noesen, he's on the team, 77 overall. Ducks have Matt Reed. Interesting. Palmieri, Silverberg, Devontae Smith-Pelly. So they have a couple 70s overall in here. I mean, they have Penner and Noesen. I would assume they're their fourth liners. But it's weird that Penner's 76 overall and has 3 points. Interesting. It's a weird lineup, but it just seems like offensively their first line is the only line contributing here. So if we can shut down the first line, we might be good. Defensively, though. Okay, so they might be getting some points from their defense. Hampus Lindholm's at 86. McBain's at 82. Bufflin, they have Bufflin on their team. He's at 86 as well. Klitzum's an 80. Sammy Vatanen's at 83. And Ben Lovejoy's at 76. So you got Klitzum and probably Lovejoy. Then Vatanen and McBain, Bufflin, and Lindholm. I would assume so. That would be their offense, their defensive lineup. Their defense really isn't all too great. Their top 6 isn't good. Definitely not go with Klitzum and Lovejoy. Definitely not. Vatanen, I mean, they do have some offensive guys in there that definitely can, you know, put the puck in the net. Hampus Lindholm seems to be doing the job for them there. But other than that, since we took Fowler away from them, it doesn't look too good on defense. And then goaltending, who they have. Frederick Anderson, but looks like they're starting John Gibson. Yep, he's 91 overall. Okay, so Anderson did start one game for him. Went in there for one game, probably saved 7 shots. In replace of Gibson, but he's 4-2, 2.39, 0.1915 save percentage. So 91 overall goaltender there. Their defense isn't good, but they have a very good goaltender in the net. That's why. Okay, so round 2 against Anaheim. Now we beat Edmonton in 6, and now we got to go play Anaheim on the road here. All right, so Vancouver, let's go. We're not going to change up anything here. Let's go. If we can shut down their first line, we should be pretty good for this series. But if we can't prevent them from scoring, then we're going to be in trouble. And just like that, we can't seem to score on their defense. 3-1 and 3-0 in the first 2 games. Not looking good there, boys. We had Anaheim's number in the regular season, but you know they look like it looks like their chemistry is looking pretty good here. I'm going to go one more game. If not, we're going to have to change something. Actually, you know what? Let's change some things up right now. We haven't gotten anything done in the last couple games. Let's stack the lines up. Maybe I might just go best lines, to be honest. I might go best lines here. Do we want to go best lines? Let's see. Options. Yeah, let's go best lines. Because we haven't scored in the past 2 games, really, or many goals at all. So they want Gaudreau, Galchenyuk, and Shinkaruk. Nyquist, Grigorenko, Abdelkader. Winnick, Horvat, and Berglund, Gotch, Bonino, and Gaunce. So deep down the center, who do we have scratched? Who's scratched on this team? I want to see. Rosehill scratched. They have Lyndon Vey scratched. Definitely not gonna fly with that. I'm gonna scratch Winnick. All right, we're gonna address Lyndon Vey. Replace him. Substitute him in, and then I'm gonna scratch Daniel Winnick. Alright, so I'm going to leave those there. Abdelkader, no, you're going to go up here. Berglund, you're going to go up there. Vey, Horvat, and... You know what, let's go Vey, Horvat, and Gaunce. Yeah, Vey, Horvat, and Gaunce, and then go Abdelkader, Bonino, and Gotch. So we're going to move Bonino. Oh, Bonino's actually been having a decent playoff run, so you know what, let's move him up to the third. No. Let's move him up there. Let's move... Gaunce is a center, too, so we'll move Bonino up to the third. Move Gaunce to play center. Gotch is also a center. Yeah, let's play. Who has the better faceoffs again? Gotch is 80. Gauntz has 84. Yeah, so we want Gauntz taking faceoffs. All right, so that's what we'll do there. Defense, it shouldn't matter. Tanev, yeah, those guys are fine. We'll leave all the power play lines the same. And Campbell's in net. Good. All right, so we're just going to run best lines now because we've only scored one goal in the past 2 games against this team. Want to see if we can change it up a bit here. If that doesn't work, then, you know, it's not going to work. Anaheim might be just a good team. Their first line just might be way too good enough for us, but we'll see here. Game number 3, we finally come home, so let's see if we can possibly switch the series around. Nope, we still can't score goals. 4-1. Down 3-0 against the Anaheim Ducks. It's probably a lost cause at this point. We just can't seem to score goals on them. John Gibson might be too good. Yep, 3-1. Wow, Anaheim completely shut us out to only 3 goals in 4 games, and they scored a lot. They scored 13 goals in 4 games. We only scored 3. Yeah, there's John Gibson for you. Their first line probably came in very clutch, and we only scored 3 points in that series. So, unfortunately, our playoff run comes to a halt again to the Anaheim Ducks. Their first line, their goalie was just way too good. It's a 91 overall goaltender. What are you going to do? That's the simulation there for you. Rough. Rough. All right, no big deal. At least we're making the playoffs consistently. Yeah, so, to be perfectly honest, it is a move in the right direction for this team. Alright, so the scout's done. We want to send him out to the WHL now. We want to send him out to the WHL for those defensemen. You know what, we're going to do 3 weeks for them. But it's definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, the first year we did not make the playoffs. Second year we did make the playoffs, but got swept in round 1. And then this year we got through round 1, but then ran into an extremely hot team who was definitely the better team in our division. They just had a really good first line, 2 90s. Excuse me, 2 90s. Even though Edmonton had 2 90s as well, but they didn't really have a goaltender, and that's probably why we scored some goals. This team didn't have much of a defense, but they had a goalie. That's why. All right, so. Whoops, going way too far on the calendar. Alright, we want to take it a week before we start the draft. We're probably not going to do the draft in this video. We want to see what happens here. Alright, scout is done. And then for the last scout here, do we want to send them back out to the US again? Yeah, let's send them back out to those US guys again. Let's send them back out again for the rest of the year. 3 weeks for those guys in the US, because there were a couple top 10 guys I was looking at. Finish up scouting in there, and then we'll take a look at this team going forward. So the playoffs have ended. Stanley Cup champion is the Chicago Blackhawks, so they beat the Anaheim Ducks anyway. So we didn't lose to the eventual Stanley Cup winning champions, but the Chicago Blackhawks win again. Crazy. Alright, so we're going to go a day before the draft. We have plenty of time here. Draft not in this video, because this video is already going close to 20 minutes. Don't want to do the draft here, because I want to see if we want to maybe make some trades and, you know, possibly move up into the draft for one of those maybe good looking defensemen that we might want to pick up here. Alright, so let's take a look at all the awards and all the stats. Take a look at the playoff tree first, see how that ended up going. See who it was. So it was Chicago versus Buffalo. And only one's dreams. Only in NHL 14 will we see that. So Chicago swept, Anaheim swept. So those two teams were looking very good going into that series. And Chicago beat Anaheim 4-2. And Florida beat Carolina. Buffalo beat Boston. Buffalo beat Florida in 7. And that might be eventually, maybe, you know, in the Eastern Conference Finals, Buffalo versus Florida. But Chicago easily dealt with them in 6 games, 4-2 over them. Alright, so there's that. Let's go for the awards now. Check out the awards. Alright, so the Stanley Cup champion, your Chicago Blackhawks in 2017-2018. Pittsburgh won it twice. They won it in 14-15 and then 15-16. They won it twice in a row. Then Tampa Bay, and now Chicago wins it yet again. President's Trophy went to Pittsburgh, Chicago, and then Prince Wales. Okay. Player awards now. So, Art Ross goes to Sidney Crosby for a 2nd year in a row. Hart Memorial, Crosby. James Norris, Chris Letang, Lady Bing, and Matt Duchene. Calder Memorial went to Max Domi. Conn Smythe, Corey Crawford. Vezina, Marc-Andre Fleury. William N. Jennings, Marc-Andre Fleury. Bill Masterton, Brady Coburn, No Way in Hell. Frank J. Selke, Patrice Bergeron, Ted Lindsay, Sidney Crosby, Maurice Richard, Alexander Ovechkin. All right, so nobody on our team won any awards this year, but hopefully, and we will be able to win some awards in the coming years. But all right, so draft is coming up. I don't think we have a first round pick this year. We might. I actually think we might. Let's see. I would have been able to edit my trading block the last episode, but I did not get to do it. Unfortunately, there's all the guys that are coming up on our team. But okay, we can look at. Well, nope, not trade and improve. I want to look at contracts. See whose contract is coming up this year. We have a shit ton of cap space, so honestly, I don't think there will be a problem with, signing the players this year. But let's look at all of our contracts here, and let's see what we got going here. So let's start in the back end. We'll start with the goaltenders. As we know, we picked up Jack Campbell at the trade deadline. He looks like he's going to be our starting goaltender going into next year. He's 86. He did have a pretty good year this year starting. How many games did he start? He started, whoops, I want to go this way. He started, those are 10 games. That's the playoff stats. He started 50 games this year, goes 31-15, which was actually a pretty good year for him. So you know what, he might get a little bit of a jump in his last year. If so, pretty good. But Eddie Lack is also probably, he has to be signed this year. We'll have to see if we re-sign Eddie Lack or not. I think we should, just because he's 84 overall. He probably still has a good bit of trade value to him, so we'll probably sign him. But remember, we do have these two guys who are looking pretty good. Polvika has grown up to an 83. So for the people that were complaining, oh, trade Patrick Poliv. I keep saying Polvika, but it's Polivka. I just noticed that until right now. So Patrick Polivka is an 83 overall. He's considered a backup. So he got a pretty good jump going for the Vancouver Canucks AHL team. I would assume the AHL team was pretty good because he got a nice little jump up to an 83 now. So he's technically considered a backup as well. So we have to weigh our options here. Dubois also an 81 at 23 years old. He might be able to get another start down there in the minors again unless he gets a big jump during the offseason. But he might be the minor league starter yet again, and he'll just be some trade bait down there. But Polivka looks like he could challenge Eddie Lack for the backup role next year, because there's no doubt I think Jack Campbell will be the starter unless something crazy happens in the offseason. But I think Polivka has definitely started to turn his game around here. Our third overall pick in 2015, definitely starting to pay off some dividends. A Czech Republic guy, and everybody else is they're looking pretty decent. All right, so defensemen, we have any drops here? Edler still 85. So Fowler, Hamilton, and Stanton all need to be signed this coming year. Ryan Stanton has dropped to a 78 overall. Not good for him. He is severely dropped as a defensive player here. I think we might be able to let him go. He's a depth defenseman. I definitely think there's somebody down there that we can level up there. Did somebody retire? Did Edler retire? I don't see him on there. Oh, no, he's right there. Edler, Fowler, Hamilton, Stanton, Tanev. Who are we missing? Oh, I think Hogwoon. I think they sent Hogwoon down to the in the system. Where's Jens at? Jens, there he is. Okay, I was wondering why he's down there. Yeah, he's 82. They probably sent him back down to play in the AHL playoffs, I would assume. But other than that, I think we have to make a trade for another defenseman here, because I don't think there's anybody good that's going to be ready next year, to be perfectly honest. Archambault, maybe, but he's 79 overall as a two-way defenseman. He's 25. His defensive stats aren't really too great. He's a fast skater other than that, but hard shot. He's one of those hard shot, fast skating defensemen. But other than that, doesn't look like any of our defensive prospects are paying off really too good here. We might have to make a trade for like a really good defensive prospect, or we might have to trade up in the draft to get somebody good. I think we could probably take our chances in free agency, because all we'll need is a top 6. So I'll take my chances in free agency with another top 6 defenseman here, because Stanton just out of nowhere just dropped like hell, dropped 3 overalls, and Hogboom will be good for another top 6 next year, 82. think we could continue to play him there. His defensive stats have gotten look a lot better. His defensive awareness is up to an 89, which is good. And so he'll be top 6 again. We can take our chances of free agency because we'll have plenty enough salary cap to sign with a top 6 defenseman there. But yeah, defensive prospect, a very good high potential defensive prospect, is something we want to look into here because we're stacking up on these defensive prospects, but they're just taking way too long to get up there. I mean, like, there's guys like Archambault. Yeah, it looks like he'll be maybe ready for next year, but who knows. Cedarholm, he's taking his good time, but he's 77 as a 7 defenseman. Hogboom, we know about him. Hillis was the guy we drafted, right? Yeah, Riley Hillis. Or no, no, he was undrafted. We signed him in free agency. Chesney Medvinov. Medvinov is going to take his time. He's only 20. He's going to take a good bit of time to get up there. Steenberger, he was undrafted. We signed him in the offseason. And then Jordan Subban's taking his good old time as well. He hasn't really jumped at all either. So in the system, we're struggling for defense, no doubt. In the defensive category for there, we're struggling a good bit. All right, so we have no right wingers on the team. In the system, guys, let's see. Bloodoff, Kabanoff, Mures, and Walker. Okay, nothing really too exciting there. Bottom 6 forwards for these guys. Don't think they're going to pay off well at all. Not in my opinion. Main roster. All right, left wingers. Let's see here. Abdulkader's still at 83, so you know what? He's still going to be a nice little depth player for us to have. Johnny Gaudreau, hopefully he gets a nice little boost. Nyquist went up to an 86, so that's good. Or was he an 86? Was he 85 or an 86? I think he was an 86, but he went up a good bit, so that's good. Rosehill, we need him for cap. Shinkruk still at 83, which is good. Still 23, which is nice. Jacob Vertanen's 81 now. Good. He's still considered a depth defenseman, but I think he will be ready next year. He's got that really good hard shot, which is what I like. Very fast skater, very hard shot. Not very good defensively, but he's like Hunter Shinkruk. Shinkruk's not that great defensively, but he has a good shot. Well, Shinkruk good pretty much everywhere. He's good puck moving skills, good shot as well. All right, and then Daniel Winnick. I think we can let Daniel Winnick go. Might have to sign somebody else just to keep the salary cap low, but other than that, we're looking good there. Amson, he's looking decent. 77 overall. Carter Amson, we drafted him. It's a power forward, maybe for depth. Duncan Marek and Zwiski's an 80, but is, like I said, he's one of those players that just, you know, maybe we'll have to see. He's got high potential for a top 9 forward. Maybe he'll get a nice little jump. Who knows? Okay, and centers. Let's see. Berglund actually went up to an 85. Interesting. So he went up from an 84 to an 85. Maybe we bring him back next year. Who knows? 5.3 mil for Berglund. I don't think he'll want that much next year, but you know, he was decent. He had a good year, right? He had 42 points, which is okay. You know, if one of our you know, rookies has a nice big year and has a nice little jump, you know, he could possibly maybe make it down to the 3rd line again. Maybe help out that 3rd line. Who knows? So Benino's 84. Galchenyuk is 89 still. Gotch is 81, which is good. He'll still be good. We can re-sign Gotch again. He's 34 years old. Still is a very good defensive category, I would assume. Yes, 86 is all around there. That's good. Grigorenko still at 88. Hasn't jumped as of yet, but we're still hoping that Grigorenko has a nice big year where he'll get a breakout year. Vey, 84. He went up to an 84, so I think this is the last year Lyndon Vey gets better, and he did go up 1 overall. His puck moving skills are getting better, which is good. That's the only aspect I want Vey to get better, because we still need a good playmaker on that 3rd line, and I think Horvat, they moved down here as well as Gauntz. Yeah, Dane Fox is at 80. They have him still as a depth forward. Okay, his shooting category is pretty good. His puck moving skills are pretty good. Defensively, not there yet. Brendan Gauntz, like I said, 82. He had a decent year this year. We had to play him on the 4th, unfortunately, but Gauntz is really just a good defensive type player. Not really good offensively, but he's good for defense. He's got a hard shot, fast skater, but we have him for the defense. All right, Gomer 75. Bo Horvat. Hopefully he'll have a nice little boost coming this year. Hopefully he can increase to a 2nd liner and then maybe take Benino's spot. Hopefully. Adrian Kempe, he's 78. He maybe? I don't know. We'll have to see about him. Jared McCann still taking his sweet old time. Like I said, we need that defensive category to develop a little bit. Tim Magali. Like I said, we signed him in the free agency, and then Pruden. That's about it. So, from looking at a couple of the overall jumps, some guys have gone up, so we possibly can re-sign some of these guys to bring them back. Like I said, Berglund did jump up, which is good. Benino, like I said, we'll bring back all these guys. Sign the depth guys, bring them back to get the defensive side of the play good here. No really stars need to be signed, but really what we need is another top 6 defenseman. And honestly, I would not be against trading some of these, these prospects that we have here for, another maybe first round pick to get up one of those defensemen, those really good looking defensemen in the draft. Like I said, there are some good defensemen that we want to pick up. Cam Fowler actually dropped to an 86 as well, too. So hopefully there's going to be a good year for free agency for defense. But maybe making a trade in the draft to pick up a good overall type player would be pretty good. Let me see. Can I view the draft before we do that here? Scout, sign free agents. Let's look at scouting really quickly. Scouted players. List all the scouted players here. Still is not going to list their overall type, but it will list up their things. All right, so there is a franchise player here in this Couture guy. But remember, we're looking for defense. Defense is the main thing that we are looking at here. And like I said, O'Sullivan, he's a top 10 guy. Top 4 defenseman as an exact type player, so we know about him. He's the top 4 from the United States. Like I said, there's a lot of first round guys here, first and second rounders, so we definitely can pick up one of these defensemen, I think. Buron, like I said, we'll see about some of these guys as later rounds go on, but there are a lot of first round defensemen here. There's a top 10 enforcer. I don't think that's what we need, but defensively, a lot of Canadian guys, a lot of USA guys for first rounders that we want to definitely take a look at here. So, but if we do want to make those trades, you guys saw our rosters all from, just laid out there. Do we make a trade to move up into this draft and possibly pick up one of those high roll players? Because we did make it to the second round, so I would assume our pick is going to be... It's low 20s probably, more than likely. It's gonna be low 20s, so we possibly, if we can move up into the top 10, that would be pretty sick, but we will have to see. So let me know what you guys think for suggestions for moving up in this draft. Other than that, thanks guys for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe as always, and we will take it into the draft next time and free agency as well.